It's interesting because the history, the colonial history that I'm covering in America, in New Jersey, uh, half of it is Cumberland County, but this is, I guess, Cumberland County, England, or maybe it's not a county. I'm not quite sure actually. And where he had considerable landed estate, um, we gotta check this house out. It's still there actually, the old Stanton Hall. Um, it's for sale. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but Stanton, a hamlet in England, old hall. Was that a map? I don't want a map. I don't want a map. That's no help. This is it here, though. That's a cool picture. No. It's actually for sale, or it was for sale. I had a whole bunch of pictures. This is it here. Think. No. That's not it. Cause it's a garden now. It has public gardens now. Let's go Northumberland, England. All right, this is definitely about it. I've read this before. This is actually I forget what book it's from. We actually get a lot of information about the Fenwicks from this book. Um, what the heck is the name of this book? Anyway, there's this old history book that was written like a long time ago, and it's basically just a big collection of like all the actual source, like original source material that like validates who is who and who owned what and what buildings look like what at what years according to who. But I really am trying to show you a picture of this place because it's actually pretty. It's really pretty, actually. There's like five, six different gardens. The hall. Yeah, the hall is owned by someone. Modern alterations have so defaced the tower which John Corbett occupied in the time of Henry the Sixth. Is that Henry the Sixth? That few traces of it are now observable in the slashed and stone mullioned windows put into it by the Fenwicks, are patched with bundles of clouts and straw, or are open to the owls and dolls. Oh, this is explained in one source. So this is actually probably a really old source. It is not, however, entirely tenantless. A person who earns a livelihood out of its sunny and well-walled gardens lives in a part of it. A little shop is kept in another. A third portion of it is converted into a poorhouse, and the rest of its rooms are either unoccupied or only occasionally used as granaries. Some of the rooms are wainscoted with high panels and broad stiles painted in imitation marble, and others hung with tattered tapestry. That's pretty interesting because this is around about the time that well, Charles II came into power in 1660 when he restored the crown, I think. That's interesting. I don't really know what it means right now, but other information from Reference 1 indicates that Staten Hall in the reign of Charles II was haunted by Vittage, Vich, Vettich, yeah, the Covenanter, who also stayed at the Horn Hall. Reference to the hall and Vietch is also made in reference to it appeared that Vietch moved from Harnern to Stanton in May 1677. He narrowly escaped being taken there on one occasion, but got into a hole within the lining of a great window which had been made on purpose, for the whole room was lined about with wainscot. Um, Fenwick came to America in 1675, and I'm pretty sure that he left the estate with his second wife, but he did have a lot of money issues, which we'll get to eventually. And I don't know when. I don't. 1677. I don't know. Sounds like it. I don't know if she still would have had it or not. He had a lot of troubles actually by the time he came to America. But anyway, try and get pictures. See just pictures of the gardens. Yo, someone needs to get some photos panned out. It's all up close. Anyway, let's go back to Google. Ooh. Get out of here. What the fudge? The hall. Stanton Hall has somewhat of an unknown start in history. Parts of the building date back to the 14th century. The building was listed in a survey from around 1415 where it was named Torres de Stanton. See, that's what I'm talking about. Those original sources. There's a book, an old book, maybe written in. Well, this one was written in 1415, which was more of a survey book. But there was a later book, maybe written in the 1700s sometime, that like compiles all the original source information into like chronological story or whatever. The building is described as a peel tower and also a probable bastille. Oh, basel. Basel. I just learned what a basel is too, by the way. A basel, I think, is like not as big as a castle, more of the size of like a mansion or home or whatever, like a mini castle, I guess. Um, a form of a fortified farmhouse or house built on the southwest slope overlooking the valley. Throughout the years, the alteration have defaced the original tower windows, walls, fireplace, and stairs moved around. If you look closely, you can see these on the outer wall today, but with no foundations and the walls in place are over a meter thick. During the time of Henry VI, John Corbett occupied the site. In Henry the is that eighth era, Sir Ralph Fenwick, the High Sheriff of Northumberland, lived in the tower, and the Fenwick family occupied the hall for almost 200 years until 1730. Okay. The Evening Chronicle reported an article about the building in 1972. It's a bit like Orwell's Animal Farm after the animals took over. This refers to the numerous. Well, I can't read that. What does that even say? For the animals. And in 1897, the hall was partly occupied by a blacksmith. Interesting. 1630, 1530. Yeah, 1530 is probably around the time the Fenwicks come on the scene. Um, that makes sense because the first before the Fenwicks lived here, they lived because John Fenwick's father was born at Wallington Castle, which we'll look up in a few. And then I think when the family first arrived at the area, somewhere early 1500s, late 1400s, um, the place, the first place they lived was Fenwick Tower, which is technically not there no more. Parts of the foundation of the original tower is built into a home that's still standing there, a farmhouse, but the actual tower is not really there anymore. But that was called Fenwick's Tower, and that was probably the first like scene, first residence where the Fenwick family was. This does look like a pretty cool place, though. Oh, there's a picture of the house. It was listed for like 1.5 million. That's definitely that's not it. I don't know why that picture was there. These are all it. That's it. There. I don't know. The best pictures I got of it were actually off of a. Oh, there's the ponds. Was off of a realty realtor website. See if we can just go to images. Here we go. Look how beautiful this house is. And it's privately owned. Look at that. I wonder if these is like walls, original walls. That would be fire. What? Fucking gorgeous. Could you imagine, man? Damn. So apparently the gardens around it is all public. Like it's like a, I don't know if it's like a public park. If you're just welcome to go there, if you gotta like, I don't know. But as you see, like you see, we're looking at like that White House. We saw the zoomed out photo. That White House had nothing to do with this property. See, look, there's where's that White House? It's nowhere.